each piece is on this piece?
I think here's
Can you point
the
for us?
spout where the comes out of the bird's mouth, and I don't know how you get the water in there, but somehow you do.
Here, I'm going to come in a little closer so they can see the hands. The hands, two hands holding a bird.
Now remember, you guys, you're not going to be making something this detailed in the beginning. If you're lucky to get something that even represents a teapot, it would be very nice. But
And really, aren't you going to have them make the more traditional
simple
making teapots?
Yes.
Which we don't have any examples yet, but we will before we're done here.
Will be. But remember that the ceramic artist always feels that the ultimate thing is to make a teapot, you know. So these are that. And I picked this one out, and it has nothing to do with Yi-Xing at all, except for the fact that it's made with items that are part of our regular life. And this is all done with knotted material and then the paintbrush, so I just really liked it. It kind of reminded me of Jasper Johns. In fact, I think the name of this actual teapot is called Jasper Johns Teapot. So we'll be studying Jasper later on in the semester. And then I chose this one as well. I don't know if you can get on it. It looks to me like dancing human beings, and it is glazed, but I just thought that the body of the pot was so cute, and just the way it's like a little dancing body, little dancing women or something like that.
It looks like the embodiment of I'm a little teapot.
Yes, I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
He's holding his arm in his other arm.
Okay, and the next one that we want to inspire you with is this amazing one. This is a Yixing pot right here, made by a Chinese, or no, this one's made by Gio Lastromersky, the one that we saw in the very beginning.
And I'm going to come in real close on that face so they can see the face and the vines right in the middle of the teapot.
Amazing. This is amazing, you guys. The pots we are showing you are not usual.
These people have not just started. They've been working at this for years and years and years.
Yeah, the people when we went to the conference, they had been working for 19 years as an assistant before they became...
And Richard Notkin had been working with clay for 30 years.
Before he...
At least.
Yeah, he's such a sweet man.
Maybe 35.
I can't believe it. And that we got to meet him. Now this is not even made out of clay. It's made with glass and metal. But I just thought it was really cool because it reminded me of Yosemite and the naturalness of our area. And I was thinking, when you make your teapot, if you want to make something out of wood to like caress your teapot in while it's being displayed on your counter or whatever, I thought that was just a really good idea. And the other one that I chose out of the book is just so fun. It's me. It reminds me of something that would be in my house because, you know, I'm the junk teacher. And I just want to show it to you because it's just totally fun. It's made with found objects.
Come in real close so they can see those dice.
And then you can see the little part of, here's a little piece from a Scrabble game, but just junk. But I just think it's awesome.
Probably glued on top of a teapot underneath.
Yes. Okay, so let's go to the next book. And it's called The Eccentric Teapot, and of course it's really used because it's part of Ms. Taylor's, you know, there's clay all over it. The kids go through it all the time. So it's a little used. This is a traditional real-life Yixing teapot, and it's in the shape of a fruit from China called Buddha fingers.
Okay, hold that one, and we'll get in on it.
And this is an ancient one. This is not something that was made just recently.
And the picture is actually black and white, so that's why we're not seeing the same kind of coloring as the other.
But just imagine.
Now this is a functional teapot. This teapot is made to make tea, even though it's such a beautiful organic form.
Yes. Okay, let's see what else we have that's in this book. Okay, this is a Richard Notkin, and this is part of his atomic series. You can see up here the explosion of the nuclear bomb and then the cooling towers. But I want you to see, I don't know, yeah, oh good. This is an original Yixing teapot that he used as his jumping point or his inspiration to create the one that you just saw.
Now, Ms. RiVKA, do you think they know what cooling towers are?
Why don't you tell them?
Cooling towers are part of a nuclear power plant. And if you were a little bit older, maybe more of our age, you would know there was a big controversy about using nuclear power for electricity because of the waste, radioactive waste that is left over from the cooling, from the nuclear power plant. And what are they going to do with it? They don't know what to do with it.
Store it under
right now it's being stored in places, then it could leak and make big problems of radioactivity in our environment.
And we don't want to have an environment for you children that are just growing up that is because we needed to put our blow dryer on.
There's other ways to make power that are safer and cleaner. And I think also Richard Notkin was thinking about the way that our country, and also a little earlier, and you're also very young, but the Soviet Union and the United States have been making nuclear bombs in case they needed to blow each other up. And I think he's talking about that threat too. And things are a little better in that department these days.
Yes, at least with Russia.
But talk to your history teacher or talk to MiZ RiVKA after this. Then we're talking mostly about art. But art is also sometimes a political statement, and this is a very powerful political statement made as a teapot.
Done by Richard, and you're going to actually see a picture of him in a few minutes because Miss Taylor and I found one. Oh, this is also a Richard Notkin teapot, and this is one of his heart series. Oops. And with the chains, I thought that was really incredible. He carves each one of these chains, each one of these pieces, and then he makes a series of them. So he makes a mold, and then he puts them together in different ways, and each one is totally different.
And now my students love this teapot. They always pick this picture to look at, and they can't believe it's made out of clay, and they can't believe there's no glaze. So just be aware of that. I know you don't have a big career as a ceramicist yet, probably, but as you work with clay, you'll start to be even more amazed that this is made out of clay.
They've made Mayan calendars out of really rocky clay from our area in Madera County. So this is going to be an honor for them. Miss Taylor and I have never used this clay. Oh, I have to show you these because this is amazing. This one over here is an actual ancient Yixing teapot, a wrapped teapot. And then this is an artist that is been inspired by that Yixing teapot to create this wrapped piece, kind of like Christo Javachev. And by the time you see this video, you will know who Christo is because our first projects are going to be forming. You're going to find it a little bit about Christo, but it kind of looks Christo-esque, but was inspired by this ancient Yixing teapot.
So it's clay made to look like fabric.
Which is a man-made object, and that's...
Which is also tricky to do, and I'm a ceramics teacher, and I know this would be difficult.
Okay, down here is another Richard Notkin, and he also made comments about like the poverty in our urban cities, and so you see this little skinny dog, and you see like the, you know, what our cities are made out of, and the pipes and all the things, and unfortunately, you know, just the stuff that is around our urban cities. We don't see much of that in the mountains. Okay, let's see what else we chose out of this book. Oh, this is another Richard Notkin, and this is part of his skull series, and he doesn't want it to be a gruesome thing. He feels that the skull is the place for our brain and consciousness. And so this to him is the embodiment of that. So he did many of these skull teapots in different shapes. This one just happens to be a pyramid.
And again, we're seeing the color of the clay, no glaze.
Yes, and we're going to be using this brown clay. We have brown and black. And they're giving us a pretty good discount because we're students. Okay, and down here is another ancient, this is a real Yixing teapot from 1723, which was during the time of Titian and stuff like that. And also, isn't the Declaration of Independence written around that time?
What was the date?
1723.
Well, no, 1776, you know, was our...
Oh, okay, so it was before the United States was actually created. But here we have a really beautiful traditional Yixing teapot made to look like a plum flower. And then the last one in this book, before we go into our final book, is this one, and we're going to actually start with this picture. This is not the original, but these two pieces were inspired by an original 1700 Yixing teapot, but these two are replicas, and one of them has glaze, it's from England, and the other one has no glaze.
And they're supposed to be like a bunch of bamboo strung together, I believe.
Yes. And, okay, so the last book is the book that Lucy picked all the pictures out of this one because I was picking the pictures out of the other one, and this one's called the Artful Teapot. And there's just she picked out some really good pictures for you guys to be inspired by. And the first one is Richard Notkin, and he's actually studying in this lady's studio, and her name is really hard to pronounce. It's Zhu Ding Fan, and you're going to see some of her work. She is from Yixing province in China, and Richard really, really, really looks like that. I mean, I looked at the picture, I'm like, there he is! And we got to meet him, and he is so awesome. Okay, so that's Richard, so you get an idea of what he looks like, an American artist. And these two pieces are made by the artist that we just saw that he studied under, Zhao Dingfang, and this particular piece right here is a bamboo root. It's supposed to look like a bamboo root, and this one's a piece of bamboo.
Now again, this one, especially now we're looking at, is not a functional teapot.
It's 12 inches long. So long.
Not really made to use every day for tea.
Yes.
It's an artistic statement.
But
that's what a lot of artists are doing with teapots.
yeah, but we want to make real ones so that we can have a little tea ceremony. Oh, and here we have Richard Notkin's work, but here you have another Heart Series one and another one of the nuclear waste piece. So you can get an idea.
A little different view of a little different one of the heart.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's 3 more pictures before we get to show you. Oops, wrong page. Sorry. Boy, I'd like to order this for my class. Oh, this is Allian, and this is a hanging heart, and it looks obviously Allian-like. And he talked about this piece when we were up in Davis, and I just love this. And this teapot little lid here, there's a hole here so that the steam, so that when you pour the tea, that there's a place for the air to escape so it doesn't come out of the tea lid. So he actually patented that idea.
And even though this is such a sculptural looking teapot, I believe this teapot is meant to be used.
Yes.
Don't you?
Mm-hmm. And when I first met Allian, I didn't realize who he was, and he just was so cool, and he poured me some water out of his tofu teapot, and he's just a really neat energy, really neat guy. And let's see, what else did Ms. Taylor? Oh, this. Oh no, not this one. What did she choose here? Oh, now these are not made out of clay, you guys. This is made out of jasper, and she chose this one because it looked like a Yixing design.
Now I think these are beautiful forms. And actually, Miss RiVKA and I are going to be making our teapots. So when I saw these, I thought, I think I would like to kind of be inspired by the form of this. And if you look carefully, not with all the decorative parts, but the center part, my teapot is going to probably end up looking sort of like this. Well, you never know, but this is where it starts. You have to have an idea in mind. So I love the form of this, even though they're carved out of stone. And you can see they're a little more simple than the ones we've showed you so far, so you can start to visualize the form of the teapot.
And all of these teapots are made in China, carved by hand. Okay, and there's 2 more pictures here that Ms. Taylor picked out for you. And if I could just get to it really quickly here. Oh, this is the picture that I want. I really like these 2 teapots, and I think the boys in the class, I don't know, I shouldn't say boys because girls are into cars too, but this is Allian when he had long hair that was brown. Now he has long hair that's gray. And
I'm going to come in close and see if they can see him working on that teapot.
That's him in his studio in Beijing, or
Taipei,
Taiwan.
Okay, that's a pretty good shot of that.
Yeah, and we'll go online and look at some more of his work. But these 2 teapots I just thought were just so cool. One's a carburetor, and one is a, what is it? A carburetor, and one is a V8
engine block.
And I just thought they were really cool. And of course, this is many, many years of like perfecting the use of clay, but I just thought they were very cool. And so even though you're into cars and stuff, doesn't mean that you can't like become one with yourself in clay and create a beautiful piece from a man-made object, which just happens to be a car part. And then the last one, obviously, we're going to show you an Allian, because that's who we are inspired by for this project. And these are 2 of his pieces.
Tilt the book a little towards, there you go, that's better.
And these are from the 1998, I think, or something like that.
Now again, he calls these teapot